So today I'm going on a sartorial journey with beauty journalist, broadcaster, entrepreneur and diversity advocate Dr Ateh Jewel. Ateh is also a regular contributor on ITVs This Morning, and her incredible energy and positivity is simply magnetic. I was introduced to Ateh by Trinny Woodall, who believed that we would have a lot to discuss on all things fashion and beauty. I'm certain she was right. So Ateh, welcome. I want to start with, what was your earliest sartorial memory? When did you first realise the impact of clothes?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I'm so happy to be here. I'm overexcited.
Me too. So we'll get that done.
I grew up loving film. So MGM musicals from the 1950s, Gone with the Wind was just, I'd go, I'm sick, mama. And I'd stay home and watch Gone with the Wind.
Before you could do it on catch-up TV.
Exactly. So I'd take sickies so I can watch movies and all these beautiful clothes and the energy and the makeup and the colour. And I grew up loving sort of like 1920s films. I was that child who loved Marlene Dietrich at like 6. It was just magical. And I just always found it transformative, powerful, playful. It's all about characters and making, being an expression of your own imagination. I always got that and I was obsessed with it.
But do you remember the moment that you first put on an item of clothing or an outfit that was just like, I am transformed. I am Ateh.
Well, I remember, my mum was an 80s rich bitch. Okay. She was like, it was Dynasty, Dallas. She was a diplomat's wife.
Would she agree with that?
Yes, definitely. People used to mistake her for Diane Carroll from Dynasty.
Oh, fabulous.
And she'd be like, no, I'm Daphne. I'm not Diane. She was like, so I grew up with a very powerful, she was always shopping in Harrods. It was, her fashion sense is amazing. She should have been a stylist for Italian Vogue if she knew that was a job. So that was always in my orbit. But the first time I felt like, wow, I remember ripping up some sheets and making a dress. And I put hoops around it. And I just felt I wanted to be like Vivian Leigh in Gone with the Wind. I wanted something big and poofy. And I just made something for myself. And I put hangers all around the bottom. And I just was like, yes. I think it was a hot mess, Amanda. But like...
That puts me to shame, because my very first item that I made was out of a sheet. And my mother started to get sick of me ripping up sheets, I must admit. And then tie-dyeing it.
Oh, wow. So yes. So exactly
the sheet queens.
Sheet queen, bed sheets, and having our mothers be a bit cross. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think as human beings, particularly in the world of fashion and beauty, we're a little guilty of sizing people up when we first meet them, especially by what they're wearing. Is this something you're conscious of?
It's hard, I'm trying to be less judgy, but I did meet someone who had amazing curls, and I thought, I have respect for you. She's like...
And were they Afro curls out of interest?
Yeah, they were. And they were just, and her curls were so bouncy and beautiful. It just made me think, God, you're in control of yourself. You love yourself. You have a program. You know what you're doing. There's so much self-love. So I did think all these positive things towards her. But in terms of how people present themselves, I just think, God, there's so much going on behind the scenes. So I'm always attracted to beautiful, I work in beauty. I love beautiful things.
Is it the skin then? The skin and the hair?
I think
look at first.
Makeup, skin, hair, clothes, everything, the whole presentation. I met someone on the tube yesterday who was dressed in sort of 1930s Peaky Blinder. And he said, oh, I love you. And I'm like, I love you more. Like, so I like beautiful things and beautiful people and beautiful clothes.
I think there's not enough of people saying, God, you look great.
Yeah, it's positive.
And to see someone sort of, their face transforms when you say, I don't care where they are or who they are. When you flatter someone about how they're looking, it's a sort of magical moment.
I completely agree, because, it's about kindness. I grew up in the Devil's Wear Prada era, where it's sort of to cut you down and to put you into a camp. And I think now it's about lifting people up.
I totally agree. So when it comes to you dressing, do you dress for yourself, for your husband, other women, or other men even, or your audience?
I tell you, I've had a real transformation. Up until 2 years ago, it will shock you that I never wore colour.
I cannot believe it.
It's so interesting. My daughter, I've got twin girls. I tell you, because I really wanted to fit in. I knew, I started in this industry in 2001. It was a very different landscape.
Very.
I remember being told in an HR meeting, you're very well educated. Does that make you feel more white? And that was someone trying to pay me a compliment. So it was a very different landscape. So I was always in black or white or grey. I wanted to be chic. I straightened my hair. I wore, Chanel bags up to the eyeballs. It was like a uniform. It was protection. And one of my daughters said, "Mummy, you're just an old grey lady." And I was like, "Excuse me," because I was always wearing grey. And I said, "It's very chic. This is," I was like, I was aiming for like Calvin Klein 2002. That was like and then the pandemic came, and I really thought, if this is the end of days, I don't need to dress for other people's perception of me. Like, this is what power looks like, in my opinion, my perception. And I'm going to dress for myself, what pleases me, what's joyful, what to express myself. And so during the pandemic, I really exploded with color. I exploded being myself, and I turned the volume up. And then my daughter said to me, the same daughter, like 4 or 5 years later, she said, "Mummy, you see, you don't have to hide anymore."
Oh my God.
And she's so wise.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the mouths of babes. So I would say I 1000% dressed for myself. But before, I was dressed to fit in to what people thought was chic or powerful, or what was acceptable for our industry. So a big shift.
And does your husband have an opinion?
You know what? My husband is lovely. And he's just like, you're fabulous. We've been together since we're 19. So we're literally children. So we've seen every dodgy haircut, every reincarnation. We've seen it all for each other. So he loves me for me, and he just wants me to go hard and go big. So he's like, pump it up, bigger tiaras, go for it.
I love that, because you're of Nigerian and West Indian descent.
Yes.
And so that's a culture that, in my opinion, is known, or cultures, I should say, known for its love of colour.
Yes.
And fabulous ability to wear colour so well, because your skin tone just looks amazing with colour. Do you refer to your cultural heritage at all with your clothing decisions? Or, clearly not today, but do you ever dress in a traditional?
You know what? It's really interesting, because growing up, anyone who, feels othered in this society will have that moment of like, oh my God, it's Sunday. My mom's trying to make me be in a traditional outfit.
Yeah.
And it was like, eye rolling and like, oh, for God's sake. And kind of embarrassed. I know a lot of myself, like Asian friends have felt the same. And only now I'm like, God, leaning into those shapes are cut for my body.
Magical.
Exactly. So,
and some of those headdresses,
the head, exactly.
I just love.
It's beautiful. So only now, I think, post-pandemic, post with Black Lives Matters, I'm really seeing the power and beauty. And, these are clothes cut for, I've got a juicy, big West African body, and these shapes are cut for me. And so I'm just leaning into, and fabrics and textures and colors. So that's definitely something I'm reconnecting to, and feeling pride in my 40s versus that little girl who was like, oh, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh, how wonderful. And the prints.
Oh my God, such beautiful prints and just colors and designers. And it's just the Nigerian fashion scene's exploding as well.
Well, my next question was going to be, do you wear any Nigerian designers? Because there are some brilliant ones.
Yeah, well, I would like to start doing more, but I just think...
Is access to that quite difficult in the UK?
There's some amazing British Nigerian designers, but I'd really love to go to Nigeria when I'm launching my beauty range and just like immerse myself and explode.
Definitely. Plus, surely it would be fantastically inspirational, wouldn't it? For colours and shades.
Oh, definitely. One of my first headdresses was from a Nigerian designer, and during the pandemic, and it was just so, the colour, the shape, it was just, I just felt like I was crowning myself and reclaiming who I was.
I read that. I loved that. I also read that during the pandemic, that your Charlotte Tilbury red lipstick, worn with your PJs, helped you get through lockdown. I can see it. I love that.
I know. It was the time. Do you remember it's almost like a bad dream or like a terrible Netflix movie when we had that 1 hour of yard time where we were allowed to leave the house and go
Yeah.
for a walk. And it was like some days you just didn't want to get out of bed. It was so depressing. It was scary. And that lipstick was such an anthem. It was such a like, let's go, let's do this. And I'd put on that red lipstick. I'd get up. I'd do an Instagram live, because before the pandemic, I never really did lives.
But you just wanted to connect.
I was seeking desperately for connection. And, because I'm a child, I was born in the 70s, and I have one foot in that era, one foot in the modern world. And so I always had that voice of like, don't make a show of yourself. It's like, as a teenager, I had about 10 photos of myself because you had to develop them in Boots.
Oh, yes.
Versus a million selfies a day. So I always had that voice in my head. And then the pandemic, I just let everything go and was myself.
How wonderful that actually you got the positives out of it.
Yeah.
So you moved to the country.
Yes.
Do you dress differently in the Cotswolds to what you do in London? Or are you just a fabulous Ateh with your wonderful headpieces on?
I mean, I am mummy on the school run, and sometimes, if I want a full pink smoky eye, then I'll do that. my children are like, oh, Mum, please. But I just, I'm comfortable. I'm myself. I do colour, and I think being yourself is the most revolutionary thing you can do, because you show other people and it inspires them to be themselves.
It's the most liberating thing, isn't it?
Big time.
I know you're a very mindful person, or I believe you are. Do you consider fashion to be a type of self-care?
Oh, definitely. I have never understood people who look down or really think that fashion and beauty is superficial. It is all about luxury and character, and the ritual of putting clothes on, how you put clothes on. It is so there is no culture in any period of history who have not put significance on how you dress and how you adorn yourself with makeup. It is so part of your culture and so part of who you are. I don't understand people who don't get that.
Because it is what's between your naked self and the rest of the world, isn't it?
Literally. And you're expressing yourself in so many, in your choices and your lack of what you wear. You're making statements. It's very interesting.
And lack of makeup, for that matter. Yeah. Does your perception of your body affect your choice of what you wear?
It probably used to when I cared more, but I don't anymore. For me, it's about celebration, being comfortable, just, I'm so grateful. I have a cousin of mine died a couple of years ago from breast cancer, and she was a model, and she was the person I just looked up to the most, and she was just so fabulous and so wonderful, and it's such a privilege to get older. This is what I'm realizing. It's a privilege.
It really is, isn't it?
Not everyone gets there, and so just to love yourself, accept yourself, celebrate your body. So dressing is now a celebration, not rather than a hiding. Does that make sense?
Oh, I love that. So, but on those days when we all have them, we're not feeling our sparkling best for whatever reason, what piece will always lift you up? Or, is that makeup?
For me, it's probably makeup, but also something colourful. So like, throw on a hot pink dress, or throw on, a coral outfit, and then put on some makeup. That will always make me feel better.
And when you need to feel empowered, what do you reach for?
Probably, I'm loving my crowns now.
Oh,
so like, literally, I've got Elizabeth I vibes going on.
God, I wish I could borrow one of those for Ascot.
So I put on a crown. You literally feel like a superhero. I think putting on makeup and colour and sparkles and just being playful and joyful.
And that just gives you your...
Yeah, and you know what? And if you don't have any of that, you're also enough. That's the trick.
Yes, and knowing that.
Yeah.
Who would you consider to be your style icon?
Oh my God. So many people. I love Georgian fashion. Like I love history. I studied history at university, and I loved Georgian culture and fashion. I love that juxtaposition between luxury and also quite dark. It's like it was built on sugar and slavery versus, it's just so, and that, I think that's human nature.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting, but I do love that, the textiles and tea but style icon. I love Elizabeth I. I'm really interested in power. That's what people don't get about me. I love
You really
power.
are, aren't you?
For me, it's all about power, and I find that really interesting.
But it's soft power.
Yeah.
If you're unsure of the the dress code, do you have a go-to look? Do you have something that's sort of tucked away that will always make you feel strong?
My mum is probably, you know what? I'll say my mum is one of my style icons, and she taught me so many lessons about power and dressing. And she went to an event, exactly. She didn't know what the dress code was. So she put on some jeans and like threw on a fur coat. It was the 80s, don't judge her. And
I would never judge.
And then put some pearls on.
I was going to say some jewelry.
And she put some pearls on. She said, Ateh, whatever the dress code, you're the center. And I was like, and that is kind of my go-to. It's like, you know what? People be feeling bad that they didn't have jeans and some pearls. So that was my mindset.
That's inspirational.
You're the center, and that was a lesson she taught me. So whatever's happening, it's all about you.
Is age a consideration of how you dress?
I don't think so. My mum's in her 70s and she's fabulous and she wears anything she wants. And
amazing.
She just pulls it off, and it's confidence. You know what? Confidence is sexy and powerful. If you just feel good in yourself, that irradiates out. And so you can wear anything, be any age. And that's what's important. You could... God, I wasted my teens and 20s when I was just, when I was the hottest I've ever been in my life.
Youth is just wasted on the young, isn't it?
And I was like, oh my God. And I'd be dancing on a podium thinking, oh my God, I wish I was like this size or whatever. And I just looked amazing. I wish I just loved myself.
I know. Do you have one item of clothing that means the most to you?
Well, that's interesting.
Just might be sentimental.
I do love shoes. I do love
Okay,
shoes.
how many pairs do you own?
I don't think it's a lot. We're like 20?
There's not a lot.
I don't think that's
compared
a lot.
to some of my guests.
Yes,
trust me, that's not a lot.
But quality, I've invest in quality. I love bags. I love jewelry, clothes. I love a good jacket. I think style over things that last. Things which are seasonless. I really believe in that.
But is there one specific piece that you think, I wore that on my wedding day, or...
Oh, I've got some Chanel pumps, which I think are just... I bought them when I was pregnant. And I said to myself, this might be the last nice thing I ever buy for a while. And I just remember, and they look as fresh as a daisy. They're amazing.
And they still fit.
And they still fit. They're lovely. I love those. I love... my wedding dress. I designed that myself, and that's really, it was pink Duchess satin, and I went for this kind of
love it,
like a soft pink pearl. I love that. I was very proud. That was a breakthrough for me because I couldn't physically fit into anything, and I was like, you know what? The universe bends to me, so I hired a dressmaker and I designed my fantasy dress and I made it.
You are unbelievably positive. I love it. You're now doing a lot of television, and therefore probably need a lot more clothes for your appearances. Yeah. Do you use a stylist?
I love to dress myself. I do have a stylist, Annie Swaney, who's amazing. She's a friend of Trini's. And
do you ever let her take you out of your comfort zone?
Yes. I mean, she picked this dress today. I would not have worn this before, but I love it. And it's so interesting to see how other people see you through someone else's eyes and what they... so she's pushed the envelope for me in terms of, you just give yourself permission, don't you?
Yeah, fantastic. Do you have a worst fashion moment?
Several.
You say that in such a way that you don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I don't mind.
We'll move right on.
Several. I mean, my God, I'm just so lucky I didn't grow up in the social media age that there was more photographic evidence. But there's some whoppers. There was a,
Whoppers.
As a teenager, I don't know how my mother let me out of the house. I wore a hot pink crop top with a fluffy 3D bear between my boobs, a micro mini, thigh high, and then I went to Harrods and bought...
That bear had the best day.
He got me into a lot of clubs for free, I'll tell you that. And then I went and I thought it was really cute because I didn't have that much money as a teenager growing up. And so I remember... there was a fate, like a Prada teddy bear bag. There was some kind of designer bag, and I remember going to Harrods to the toy department and buying the same thing for like £19 and thinking I was very clever. And I just had a real teddy bear rucksack, and I just
amazing.
It was kind of iconic in how sort of what's going on. But I thought that was fun.
So when you're getting dressed in the morning, do you start with one particular item in mind that you really want to wear and then build around it? Are you a planner?
I am a planner, and I also went to a school which didn't have a uniform.
Whoa.
Yes, which was near near you. I went to school in Knightsbridge, a girls' school in Knightsbridge, and they didn't have a uniform, which was so dangerous.
I think it's really tough on particularly teenage girls.
Because it's so much pressure as well. So like in terms of economics and this, but we didn't have a school uniform. So every day I would dress as a character, and I was really more like, I'd be like French sailor meets a pirate. So I would always have some crazy theme in my head. So I mean, I'm not as extra as I used to be, but I would wake up and I dress for a mood. So how do
is it the mood of the moment?
Yeah, so like, you know, or a theme, you know, like pink baby doll, or or baby blue pastels or something, or I'm like, you know, pistachio cream. I am that person. So so today was a bit baby bluey. You know,
fabulous,
floaty. So I think it just makes life so much more fun when you have to do the school run and laundry and dishwasher. Pistachio cream today.
So when you're going shopping, do you plan what you want, or are you a complete impulse buyer?
Impulse buyer. But also,
I sort of knew you were going to say that.
You didn't even have to, you knew it. Impulse buyer, but also because I'm curvier, it's not as easy for me. So when I see something, if there's something that looks great on me and fits and comfortable, I'll buy in every color, you know?
But so do you shop online then? Or is that more difficult?
I do shop online. I shop but only stores I know will, like, I know the cut, I know the sizing, I feel comfortable. But it can be more challenging to be more fabulous when other designers aren't really on board.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So travel, let's talk about travel. Do you pay particular attention to what your airport look will be?
You know, comfort for me all the way. God bless Victoria Beckham. She said it was like a runway and high heels and everything. I have so much admiration and clap quietly when I see someone pulling a look at an airport. But for me,
but they've been buggied to the place that they're about to be snapped at, and then they're buggied away from it.
Yeah, so with my children and bags and like eat your breakfast. Let's go. So for me, it's comfort, it's sneakers, and just I want to be comfortable. Yeah.
Good packer, bad packer?
Bad packer, chaotic.
Too much?
Too much. My mum always did teach me to roll the clothes and so that. But I'm a control freak, and so I want something for every eventuality.
So do you plan it, or do you just throw it all in and think it will work its way out on the other end? I
think I'm probably in between. So okay, what happens if suddenly we have to have a dinner? And I want something for every occasion.
I'm the same. I have to say, I mean, sod this, let's pack into a tiny case.
No, I'm not a minimalist.
No, not when we travel.
No.
Okay, so honestly, if you're going for longer than a night, how many bags do you take?
Oh my God, 3 or 4.
Big ones? Big ones?
Well, like a suitcase and carry-ons. Is that bad?
Do you know what? I think that's fine.
You know what? Half of it's my makeup.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie. I put my hands up. Like the smallest bag will be for the clothes. Most of it is my skincare and makeup, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Oh, I love it. I've got so many skincare questions to ask you. Which brand would you say is your guilty secret? Could be an accessories brand. Doesn't have to be.
For nothing's guilty. Like high, low, pocket friendly, high street. I think everything's amazing. I love H&M, Henny, like depending on how old you are. If people say H&M or Henny's, which one are you? Henny's, I say Henny's. But if you're under a certain age, people say H&M, but I don't know.
I was going to say H&M, but then I thought, that makes me very young.
Yeah. I don't know which way, but I like Henny's.
In my dreams,
I love car. I like high street. I like designer things. I like everything in between. Bit of Primani's amazing. Everything.
Do you think there's anything that you've got an excessive amount of in your wardrobe?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I do have a lot of bras. I like good quality because I've got the biggest boobs in the world. So I love good quality bras. I think good lingerie is the foundation of any outfit. So I love Elomi and, Curvy Kate bras. I think they're amazing. But what do I have? I have more dresses now, which is lovely. I never had dresses before because I could never get great tights, which sounds, again, it's a diversity thing. If you can't get good tights, you don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. But I've discovered a new brand called Stag Tights, which have like plus sizes, amazing colours, and that's opened a whole world of dresses.
But you're wearing these amazing pink tights today.
That's from them. Yeah.
The crown.
Neon pink tights. It's amazing. So I have more dresses now, which I love.
Do you have a particular colour that you revert to again and again?
Pink. I think it's my spiritual colour. It's
pink. Next to your skin tone, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Yes, pink.
Guilty secret. Most expensive item of clothing that you've bought. You don't have to tell me how much.
Clothing or handbag?
Oh, it can be an accessory.
Handbag.
Generally it is.
Like a Chanel handbag. When I thought I needed it as armour. Backstage, it's like, leave me alone, I've got a Chanel handbag.
Yeah.
Like, so
I'm one of you. I'm part of your club.
Look, I'm part of the club. And it didn't work. I've still had microaggressions, but probably a Chanel handbag, probably.
And did you ever sort of think about pounds per wear? Did you ever justify it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you know what? I don't feel I need they're beautiful things. I love luxury. I love things which are well made and craft, and they're all there beautifully protected for my girls. I've got twin girls. I was going to say,
do you look after things really?
Yeah, I just think, girls, you're going to luck out, love. Just go in there, go shopping, knock yourselves out. So I know that it's ready for them.
Oh, lovely. So do you ever sell any of your pieces that you've had enough of, or just because you've got two daughters, I've
got twin daughters.
Are they now interested?
They're beginning. They're sniffing around. So they're 11, and they say things like, "Mummy, can I have that ring one day?"
That ring, what? I love it. Straight in there.
Straight, literally.
Your engagement ring.
I can hear the whispering. They're divvying it up already. So yeah. Go for it.
Do they get on well?
Oh, it's such a special bond being a twin, and they're
fraternal,
so non-identical,
yeah,
completely different, chalk and cheese. My goodness, one's a corporate lawyer, one's an artist, like literally,
fabulous.
Like both ends of the spectrum. They're both fabulous. They love each other. They are so sweet. I still, at bedtime, I hear giggling, and they'll be in each other's bedrooms, like. And it's just a best friend for life, or it's just
I hate her.
Get out of my clothes. So it's one or the other, but they have a very special bond. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. What's your approach to sustainable fashion?
I think it's so important to think about the future, our environment. I think when you buy quality, that's automatically sustainable. This kind of like fast fashion it is fun and delicious, but we have to think about the impact on our planet. So I do think when you buy quality and things that last, that is helping so much.
Yeah. Quality over quantity.
Big time.
Do you ever think of that person who's actually made your garment? So what country they live in, how they live, where they work?
Yes, and like very conscious of like God's, no child labor and like people's quality of life, and that we are all connected and we have a responsibility to each other. I completely believe in that. Yeah.
So do you specifically, would you avoid certain brands if you felt they were non-ethical?
Yes, definitely. And that's how we all have power with how we spend. Wherever you put, the world runs on economics. Let's not be let's not be cute about it. And so if you put money somewhere and you put your energy and your focus and your vocal, then more people, because of economics, will do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do with your clothes when you've had enough of them?
I recycle them. Do you
ever upcycle them? Do you ever change them or make a dress into a top? Or
I wish I could do that. I wish I was handy.
Or have it made.
Have it made. But I'll return them to like Henny's has a program, or in where I live, there's lots of recycling centres. So I'll make sure it goes where it's needed. And
do you ever sell?
I don't really. I think I should. I think I should jump on it, but I don't know. I think I'm not good at life admin like that. That seems too complicated.
What is the oldest piece in your wardrobe? It might be vintage or something that your mother gave you, or.
I mean, I still have a pair of red boots from when I was 6 years old.
No.
Which I don't think I I think I slept in them, yeah. They were these, they just made me feel so grown up and fabulous. And I still have them in the back of the cupboard somewhere. They made me feel like a grown woman, fabulous, and I will never forget that feeling. So they're in the back of the cupboard somewhere, just feeling, look at my red leather boots.
I had white cowboy boots with red stitching.
There you go. You're my twin. Like,
I wish I still had them.
Yeah, they made me feel amazing.
And would you say I think we've covered this, that you look after your clothes and your accessories?
I do respect things.
Yeah.
Because I grew up very rich, and then my parents got a divorce, and then I was very poor because my dad did a number, and so I know both sides of the coin, and I know what it is to be going to school with very wealthy people and also not having anything, and the kind of keeping
That's
up.
complex.
Very complex. So I think as a result, I have a respect for things because I know they're not easily replaced.
Okay, I've got some quick fire questions for you. You ready?
Yes.
High end or high street?
High end.
She says through gritted teeth.
High end.
Bling or bear?
Bling.
Minimalism or maximalism? I know the answer to this.
Max.
Couture or charity shop?
Couture.
One off or bog off?
One off.
Crocs, cute or puke?
Puke.
Sneakers or stilettos?
Sneakers.
Skinnies or boyfriends or wide legs in terms of jeans?
Skinnies.
Bodycon or boho?
Boho.
Sports luxe or rock chick?
Sports luxe.
Glam or grunge?
Glam.
Red carpet or relax?
Probably both, but maybe red carpet in my bedroom.
In your dreams?
In my dream, yeah. Red carpet while watching Towie. That would be good.
Party wear or PJs?
PJs.
Trend or style?
Style. Colour or monochrome? Do
I
need to answer that? Colour.
No, so don't. Pattern or plain?
Plain.
Experimental or uniform?
Experimental.
Cashmere or cotton?
I'm allergic to wool.
Oh,
my body.
One of those women who is allergic to wool. Seriously?
It makes me break out in contact dermatitis, and I just think my body knows. My body knows. Cashmere.
I'm worth it.
Yeah, I'm worth it. Take that away from me. Cashmere. Yeah.
Hoarder or editor?
Hoarder.
Charity shop or resale?
Charity shop.
Vintage or rental?
Vintage.
Recycled or upcycled?
Recycled.
Shapewear or sexy lingerie?
Shapewear.
Tights or stockings?
Tights.
Bikini or one piece?
One piece. But I'd love to wear a bikini, it'd be fun. If there's been one big enough for my boobs, but yeah.
Trilby or Tracy, as in Philip Tracy?
Oh, Philip Tracy, my goodness.
And finally, Ateh, one last question. At the end of the day, what do you or don't you wear to bed?
I do like some M&S PJs. or some fragrance and nothing at all. I'm an extreme person.
Clearly.
M&S PJs or just a spritz of perfume.
What a pleasure and what fun it has been to talk to you, Ateh Jewel, today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was so fun and lovely to be here with you.
Oh, lovely to be here with you.